Hi everyone, it's Bernard here on behalf of MovieGameNostalgia.com. Hope you're all well. It's Wednesday the 18th of September, even though I checked that calendar about a minute ago before doing this vlog. I still have to look because my memories are saved, so please forgive me. It's Wednesday the 18th of September, which means we'll be having a look at what's at the UK cinema this week. And we've got 5 movies. One's on very limited release, thankfully, which I'll tell you about later. And the other 4 should be on pretty much general release. And as normal, we've got quite a mixed bag this week. So we'll get on with it. Right, the first one I'm going to have a look at. Get up on here for you. I've been asked about this a couple of times over the last few weeks. I actually only had a quick look at the trailers yesterday and the critical reviews on it. And it's the film Astra, which obviously stars Brad Pitt, Liv Tyler, Ruth Negga, and I think Donald Sutherland's in there, Tommy Lee Jones. So it's a sci-fi. It's an American adventure drama mystery, 2 hours 2 minutes, which is fair enough for a bit of an epic sci-fi. It's 12A certificate. IMDb Internet Movie Database are giving it 7.7 out of 10 on average, with over 1,000 user reviews. I will give you some of the critics' reviews later as well. And I don't normally do that, but sometimes if the critics are being constructive, I will have a look at that and put that in as well. So it's about astronaut Roy McBride undertakes a mission across an unforgiving solar system to uncover the truth about his missing father and his doomed expedition that now 30 years later threatens the universe. So it's an interesting synopsis. I mean, the director James Gray, when he was asked about this film, stated things like it's going to be the most realistic depiction of space travel that's been put in a movie. So there's a bold statement. And his other statement was it's a bit of a mix between Apocalypse Now and 2001 in a giant mashup. Well, obviously, I love both those films, as most of you probably do, but there's elements of those films that did sort of drag out a little bit for me in 2001 A Space Odyssey. And watching the trailers, I was reminded a little bit of that in parts, and a lot of that didn't appeal to some people. So it'd be interesting, but obviously we're into your sci-fi. Let's see what a couple of users think. I'd say it's getting a 7.7 rating. This user, 7 out of 10, very stylistic movie, Venice 76 review. So this guy was lucky enough to see it at the Venice Film Festival. Great cinematography. Hoyt has done it again. And acting from Brad and Tommy, there are a couple of interesting scenes that I did not really expect in the middle of the movie. Sound editing top notch, so he liked it. Obviously, went to see it at the festival, which I think had good reviews at the Venice Film Festival. I think that's a lot of the hype about this movie. I had fun watching it. The cast was amazing. This is another one, 7 out of 10. The cast was amazing. Brad Pitt is obviously the highlight of the movie. Tommy Lee Jones was just classic Tommy Lee Jones. The story is interesting, but some parts of it is kind of confusing and leave you with questions. 9 out of 10, beautiful cinematography and visual effects. So I think this is a movie that perhaps does need the cinema watch. I can watch movies on a little phone. It doesn't bother me, but I can appreciate that this sort of movie does need that full cinema experience, I suppose, with looking at the cinematography involved in it. Brad Pitt nails his role in this movie and has become one of the greatest performances in years. The beautiful cinematography comes as no surprise through Hoyt van Hoytema, who's become a popular favourite to many directors in the modern age. So these are all quite positive. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I've got a 6 out of 10 here. Pretentious Armageddon. The plot and themes of this movie are very complex and work very well. Also, technical aspects of this film are top-notch. This is damaged, however, by some terrible stylistic choices, like having Brad Pitt narrating over every action scene and slow piano music constantly playing, making the film feel really slow and boring. So, yeah, I mean, it was a bit down on it. You still give it 6 out of 10, which is pretty good, even though it was a little bit down. I can see there are what I call arty-farty elements to this movie where it does go off and a little bit, you just sit back and enjoy the thing for what it is. The Metascore, which is obviously The critics of the various magazines and newspapers are giving it 7.7 out of 10. I mean, they range from 10 out of 10s from James Mottram, Total Film, Zan Brooks, The Guardian, with comments like sublime and stupendous, beautiful, bold, remarkably executed. This is Gray's masterpiece, driven by a career best turn from Pitt. The Guardian, it's an extraordinary picture, steely and unbending and assembled with an unmistakable air of wide-eyed zealotry. Ad Astra, be warned, is going all the way, and his double dares us to buckle up for the trip. He gets 9 out of 10 the Wrap, 9 out of 10 Screen International. Empire, which I always like to have a look at an Empire review, 8 out of 10. Existential, but also intimate. Ad Astra is a stunning, sensitive exploration of the space left by an absent parent and the infinite void of actual space. So, and the lowest mark we've got is 7 out of 10 from the critics. So again, they're reflecting the user reviews, which doesn't always happen, does it? We've got a 7 out of 10 from Variety. Owen Gleiberman. Gray proves beyond measure that he's got the chops to make a movie like this. He also has a vision of sorts, one that's expressed nearly inadvertently in the metaphor of that space antenna. Watching Ad Astra, you think you've signed on for a journey that's out of this world, but it turns out that the film's concerns are somewhat tethered to Earth. I mean, so he's still give it a 7 out of 10, but so critically, you're getting near an 8. User reviews also 7.7. So the critics and the users are bang on this. They seem to agree with each other. Is it going to be better than Higher Life with James Patterson, which we looked at a couple of weeks ago? I probably think so. And it's certainly a film I'll be trying to get to the cinema to watch. If I don't, obviously I'll be watching it on DVD or stream it at some stage very quickly, because it looks very interesting, and I hope it's not too flowery. In 2 hours, so I don't think it'll delve into going off too flowery in that sort of space of time. So yeah, I look forward to that. That's Ad Astra. So that's out at the cinema, probably on previews at a couple of places today and tomorrow, and obviously on general release on Friday. Right, on to the next one, which we're not going to share great visions of reviews on this one, because there's very little been kept under lock and key. This a little bit things on this, but we do manage to have a couple of user reviews, and it's Mr. Sylvester Stallone with his Rambo Last Blood. Well, Last Blood, I mean, whether it will be the last blood, I don't know. We've had the first blood, and this will be the last blood. But Sylvester Stallone did say back in 2018 there wouldn't be another one after this. But since then, he's changed his mind depending on how well this does. So there you go. We all know we can all change our minds on things like that. So obviously Rambo 5. It's literally got just over 100 reviews, of which a couple of people actually spent the time writing. And it's getting an 8.1 IMDb review, which is very, very good. Obviously, the synopsis: Rambo must confront his past and unearth his ruthless combat skills to exact revenge in a final mission. Hour and 29 minutes, so short, obviously packed action adventure thriller. Getting an 18 certificate, so very, very violent. I'm hoping it's going to be a better thing than John Wick 3, which we looked at, was it last week? I've seen the trailer, and it does look very, very actiony. As I said, it's hopefully a little bit of a plot in there. I don't think it'll be too heavy plot laden, obviously. And as I said, I've literally got we've got 3 reviews now. We had 2 reviews this morning. It's now gone to 3. Unfortunately, they do contain spoilers, so I can't show you too much of them. We've got a 10 out of 10. Great comeback after a long break in the Rambo series, and it only gets better. Definitely worth the wait. 10 out of 10 with a spoiler warning, so I won't read that one out and ruin it for us all. 10 out of 10, fantastic movie. 7 out of 10, another spoiler review. Obviously, Rambo fans like telling you the story and plot, obviously. 7 out of 10, which is a bit lower, but still a good score. It surely can't beat the 2008 installment, but still full of intense fighting and a touching scene, a must-watch action film. Well, there you go. That's probably, I'm not going to dwell too much on that. That's Rambo Last Blood. Another one that perhaps it's nice to go and watch at the cinema with old Sylvester there, still knocking along, 8.1 score. So early indications are that's going to be worth the wait, and certainly in my eyes anyway, probably worth watching rather than such a thing last week, because I think John Wick is still out of the picture. So if you're going to go and watch an action film, watch this. And all right, you can sneak in to go and see John Wick afterwards, fair enough, but make this your priority to buy a ticket for Rambo last month. So that's out again, general release on Friday. There may be previews of that. Right, so we're getting away now from the big blockbuster sort of things. I've actually seen this next one on a preview copy, and it's called The Kitchen. What can I say? It's an hour and 42 minutes, probably about an hour and 42 minutes too long. 15 rating, action crime drama. The synopsis of this: the wives of New York gangsters in Hell's Kitchen in the 1970s continue to operate their husbands' rackets after they're locked up in prison. I mean, these three wives, I mean, having seen what they were married to on flashbacks, etc., I mean, I do feel a little bit sorry for them. You never seen such a bunch of inadequate gangsters in all your life, even in the 70s, and how they survived even to get to this, to have wives is beyond me. There's not much of a brain cell between them. The film itself isn't getting great ratings, only 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb. I personally give it a 5.5. I mean, for me, if you get a 6 and over, a film's worth watching. So 5.5 is basically, unless you love something about the film, i.e. the actors, something like that, don't bother. I'll give you a couple of user reviews. I did not know The Kitchen, this is by Rocket Man. I did not know this film was based on DC Vertigo comic book. So there you go. If you're into the DC, you may know about it. I wanted to see this because of the sheer star power in the film. Elisabeth Moss, well, there you go, is steadily growing, rightfully because of her recent role in A Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, seen Elisabeth Moss, and having said that, in Handmaid's Tale, she very rarely breaks into a smile, and I don't think she does in this either. Tiffany Haddish has boomed in comedic roles recently. Yeah, so it's a very unusual role for her. I was expecting a bit of comedy. While Melissa McCarthy has been on the scene for a while and has been in some really bad films, she has talent, as evidenced in Can You Ever Forgive Me? Unfortunately, The Kitchen does not really live up to what it could have been. Yeah, I mean, I won't disagree. I left my next one. He's not giving ratings. He's giving it 0 stars. I left my dog alone for this. I was pleased to see that I was able to give this movie 0 stars. The only stars I wanted to see while watching this movie were the ones spinning around my head after I hit myself over the head with a pan. It would be less painful than seeing that movie. I can't believe I left my dog home alone for this. And 6 out of 10 was a bit nearer my score, and probably says it all, really. Novice writer Andrea Berloff makes her directorial debut and managed to do a better job for a newbie with the camera than her story. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's set in the 70s, so some of the sets are excellent, and it's good to watch those sort of things. And I mean, I'm not from New York and Hell's Kitchen, so I don't know, but it might be it probably wider than that, but it looks good. The story started off good and held my attention until the boys got out of jail. Then the writing just got ridiculous, convoluted, full of plot issues, and tanked from there. The entire conflict towards the end, especially the whole black power component between McCarthy's and Haddish's characters, were just dumb and unnecessary. I'm not going to read much more on that. Was there a critic? Let's have a quick look. I'd be interested to see what a critic point of view. We're talking 3.6 out of 10 on the critics score. So the very highest we get here is a 5.8 IndieWire. Movie Nation give it a 5. Movie Nation, as the picture splutters along and stalls, losing its quick pace and brutal efficiency in the latter acts, this comic book adaptation reveals the flaws in the execution if it's not very origins. So 5, and I mean, you go down to 3 out of 10 from Benjamin Lee in The Guardian. So I won't even read out his marks there, but the critics don't like it. I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid, to be honest with you. I mean, I like films where there's powerful women and these sort of gangster roles. They do tend to take a back seat, in these things, and a lot of these gangster films. This is obviously I do like powerful women in these sort of films, but these three, it just the chemistry is not right. It just doesn't work as a whole. It doesn't work. It's very disappointing. If you like the three actresses in this, I wouldn't put you off going to watch them. Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, Elisabeth Moss, but they don't work. They don't work as a independently. They struggle, I think, through this film, and as a trio, I think they struggle. So, no, I wouldn't recommend that. It's such a shame because I like the idea. Well, I like gangster films and set in the 70s, even great, but it just falls. It fails badly, that one. On to the next one, which is the last one that's on a reasonable general release. And this is getting a lot of hype, actually. I have seen a lot of negativity, some negativity, but it's called The Farewell. There's a little bit of subtitles in this. It's a Chinese, American, Asian thing, Chinese characters. So I think they do go over to China. So there is some Chinese with, or Mandarin, should I say, with English subtitles. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It's not a bad time. A PG comedy drama. So there's elements of comedy which you can see with the. It's obviously family comedy between the generations. A Chinese family discovers their grandmother has only a short while left to live and decides to keep her in the dark, scheduling a wedding together before she dies. Well, that's one way of getting through it, I suppose. I mean, you're obviously putting a false front on things. That's a couple of user reviews. We've got an 8 out of 10. Subtly anguished portrait of a family coping with tragedy. Awkwafina, I've not heard of the stars in this. Stars as a young Asian American professional woman in this down-to-earth, insightful film about a Chinese family that confronts the discovery of an aging grandmother being diagnosed with an advanced stage of cancer. The family is determined not to tell the grandmother about her condition so as to allow her the best state of mind as she lives out the remainder of her life. So I think we know what we're getting here with this, don't we? 8 out of 10, heartfelt, emotional, hilarious. This film so expertly balances the emotion and humour of keeping a secret, no matter how dire the secret may be, but it can often lead to awkward moments. The film soars when it depicts the interactions of all the family members. It lacks slightly in the department of character development. The film, that's the problem when you've got a lot of characters in the film. It sometimes is hard to develop the characters properly. The film stays transfixed on its main plot and doesn't stray for time with the outside family members. That being said, the film provides a ride that is absolutely worth watching. And one negative one here, 2 out of 10, nice little boring movie. Saw this movie last week because my friend had free tickets. As an Asian American, I had high expectations, but it just left me feeling very meh. It was supposed to be a comedy, but I only laughed 2 or 3 times. It was more of a melodrama, if nothing else. The performances were okay. No one impressed me. And I thought Awkwafina was passable at best. Most of the time, she was just moping around, looking sad. So, all right. So there you go. That's what I saw. I saw a lot of positivity, but mingled in with the odd sort of catty thing. I mean, Metascore says it all, really. We're getting a 9.10, 9 out of 10. Sorry, on Metascore from the critics, from New York Magazine, a 10 out of 10 rating from them. Hollywood Reporter gave it 9 out of 10. Los Angeles Times gave it 9 out of 10. The lowest it's getting on the critics is Screen International with a 7 out of 10. I'll sum it up with The Guardian, who give it 8 out of 10. Benjamin Lee. It's a sight film at times, but one that builds to a crescendo of emotion. So 9 out of 10 from the critics, 8 out of 10 from the users. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of love out there for that. It wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea. It's a drama. The girl was disappointed with the comedy element. So again, it might have been comedy that the person missed there, the reviewer. But that if you want a nice, slower paced film, The Farewell's out on reasonably general release on Friday. And the last one I'm going to look at, only very briefly, because it looked as I thought it was coming out last week actually, and it's literally got a very, very, very limited release. But if you want to go out and watch this because you like whoever's in it, etc., 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 then please do. It's produced by Stuart Brennan, not the sports reporter for football people who know football. It's a film called Wolf. It was a 15 rating, an hour and 25 minutes. It's classed as a horror. And it's a nice synopsis. I like the synopsis of it. That intrigued me to start with. Unfortunately, having seen what I've seen on it and trailer-wise and the reviews, obviously that looks a bit disappointing. Great Britain, 150 AD. I always like a sort of Great Britain Roman sort of thing, don't we all? When 4 messengers sent by Rome to a plague-infected Caledonia with a message of peace and help for their king go missing, Rome has no choice but to send 10. Let me just see that. Let's go further down. Has no choice but to send 10 of their finest across Hadrian's Wall to find and bring them back, led by their captain, played by George McCluskey. So it's an interesting. I mean, there's something I watched many years ago. There's seemed a similar plot where they're going up into Scotland to battle and get somebody back, if you remember. So it's been done before. The synopsis. Who's in it? Let me have a look. Stuart. It stars Stuart Brennan as well. So Stuart Brennan writes, directs, and stars in it with Mark Paul Wake and George McCluskey. We'll go on to the user reviews. They're not very common. IMDb rating, which is absolutely pathetic, to be honest with you. 1 out of 10. How was this shown as at a multiplex? Well, there you go. This is it. This is why it's going to be more a DVD film, but even on DVD, I think it's going to struggle. 3 out of 10. What did the Romans do for us? When you look at the DVD Blu-rays on sale in Asda, Sainsbury's, Tesco, you might glance down at the lower shelves and see some obscure unknown title in the £3 to £7 range and think, nah, I'll wait for it to turn up on Movies for Men too. I don't know that channel. This was a rare occasion to see one of those type of releases on a cinema screen. So, yeah, I think they've latched onto this very quickly, that it's not really a cinema thing. Always watch a film to the end. I give it 1 for the end credits. I could finally leave then. This is bad, really. I feel awkward just trying to describe how terrible it is. I feel sorry for the actors. Just don't bother. Here we go. 3 out of 10. I thought the cinematography and costumes for this film were amazing. Can tell it's low budget. Idea was great. Script was poor, but the acting was so bad I couldn't help but wince every time someone spoke. So there you go. If you like your rubbish movies, badly acted and etc., you're sort of not a B movie, more a Z movie, obviously. Perhaps Wolf will appeal to you in a bad way. So you never know, it may be a cult movie in a few years' time. Right, well, that's it. That's this week. Hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, the ones we've looked at, I've had Astra and Rambo Last Blood are ones I want to really see. I'd say I've seen The Kitchen. Forget that. And The Farewell, yeah, if I've got a lazy Sunday afternoon when I'm doing other things, I'll stick The Farewell on. Obviously, you've got subtitles on that, so perhaps not one you can watch while you're on your phone, but obviously most of it's, I think, in English. I don't think the subtitle elements are massive on that. So that's The Farewell, The Kitchen, Rambo Last Blood, Ad Astra, and, well, forget Wolf. Right, hope you enjoyed. Subscribe would be great. If you try to... If you follow us on Twitter at nostalgia_movie, all the links are below on the comments, so go on there. On Facebook at Bernardine, with links to movieGameNostalgia.com on there. So I'll be back tomorrow with my look at the 90s and 2000 movies, posters of movies there. So a lot of people are enjoying that. I'll be doing that, and obviously Friday I've got the hits from the decades again, so we'll be looking at some of the great films over the decades from the 20s to the 10s. So there you go. That'll be interesting then. So subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I will see you all. Whatever you're doing today, have a great one, and I'll see you all on Thursday, the 19th of September. Have a great one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.